The More People organization was founded back in 2002. So our first activities were actually study abroad programs, which we organized in many different countries, Cuba, Argentina, Thailand. But then we moved on with academic conferences, which are not strictly academic. They are very unique because they are limited to 60 carefully selected delegates from around the world. We have hundreds, for some conferences, like up to 2,000 applications every year, and we only select 60 to 80. Interesting topics. The second one is we want the cultural diversity in our conferences. So you will see that it's not strictly academic, like there are students as well. Maybe 30 to 50% only at maximum in our conferences are university professors. All of the others are either professionals or governmental representatives or NGO or students. The idea to create a network of professionals and future leaders in those fields that are gonna make a change back in their respective communities, like people feel now that they need a change. Spiritual awakening, that is the main motive behind this. That's what we want to bring up.
Falun Dafa, also known as Falun Gong, is an advanced self-cultivation practice that improves mental and physical wellness through physical exercises and the development of one's character. In China, cultivation practices have a history of thousands of years and form the spiritual foundation of Chinese civilization. In 1992, Falun Dafa was introduced to the public by Master Li Hongzhi. The practice quickly spread because of its profound principles and proven health benefits. By 1999, with over 100 million practitioners, Falun Dafa had grown to become the largest practice of its kind in China and around the world. Traditional Chinese medicine focuses on energy channels and believes that the health of the body is related to the health of the mind. Falun Dafa cultivates mind and body simultaneously, improving the body's natural immunity.
I had a very, very bad immune system. I was sick all the time. And I came to the practice for spiritual reasons, but I immediately stopped getting sick. I kept thinking, why am I not getting sick? I kept saying, what's wrong? As a matter of fact, I go to parties now and they used to say, oh, give the sick babies to Jeannie, she never gets sick.
I feel an energy in my body that's very subtle and hard to describe, but it feels very good. I could have very little sleep and I'll feel awakened, but not like a coffee energetic, like a very calm and collected energy. And that 1 hour can feel like a day, and then I'm refreshed and ready to go.
At the core of Falun Dafa are the values of truthfulness, compassion, and forbearance. Falun Dafa teaches that these are the supreme qualities of the universe and takes them to be a guide for daily life and practice.
Well, when I was little, I would stare at night, just sit in my bed and look at the stars and think, why were you here in the first place? Why do you even exist? And most of all, where do you come from? First time I read John Falun, the book on Falun Dafa, I felt a lot of those questions were just immediately answered.
I think the best benefit is the peace of mind. I have incredibly peace of mind. My family certainly has benefited. My husband said to me within a month I was much easier to live with.
Applying truthfulness, compassion, and tolerance to my daily life is the greatest challenge of my life, actually. You would think it's so simple, but therein lies the challenge. But everybody else around you feels it, because you become lighter, you smile a lot more, and you become much more genuine.
And this gets me because China is a great country. They have a lot of wonderful history, but they persecute people. Just want to practice their religion. They're very peaceful. Every picture is of a person who's dead, persecuted and killed for a religion. And people complain in America that no comparison between what they have to go through and what we have here. It breaks my heart. I mean, I'm just crying to see those are real people. They're real people who died. They're not just photographs. And these people have been out in the street in New York for years, asking people to support them. And I don't think most people know enough about it.
Definitely you can speak out against the government in China, you disappear. As I know this from my German history, 70, 80 years ago the Gestapo came 4 o'clock in the morning and people disappeared. And the same thing happens in China. My son, who is now 17 years old, he participated at the rescue effort to get orphans, Chinese orphans out of China, orphans whose parents have been persecuted to death in concentration camps by practicing Falun Gong. And these kinds of things are still going on in China. Yeah, and if you help Falun Gong people in China, you put your life and the life of your family in high risk as well.
Well, you just experienced exercise 2 of Falun Gong, which is a very simple exercise. We are going to go ahead. Let's have a look at the slides here. With Wings Will Travel is about April, a Caucasian woman in her early 50s. She had anxiety and depression when her doctor referred her to see me. We went through a couple of techniques during the counseling until the counseling come to a plateau when we have to come up with something to move forward. And that was when I introduced Falun Dafa or Falun Gong to her with her consent. And what she found was inner peace, joy and resilience. And in 2014, about a decade later, I caught up with her, and she's actually featured in the book as well, With Wings Will Travel as April. When she gave me this statement and said that when I first started Falun Gong, I felt really good, physically and mentally. It was something for her to focus on, and it gives her a sense of purpose in her life, and it calms her mind and body. And that was the first thing. I introduced her to the sitting meditation, and the first thing she said to me was, she felt calmer. And so, through the therapy, she learned how to actually deal with her emotional stuff whenever they come up. And more than 10 years later, she said the same thing to me. A spiritually integrated approach with Falun Gong, how I integrate Falun Gong into my work with a certain degree of sensitivity to my client's background. And I call that a 6-step spiritually integrated approach. Trends. Again, this is just a repetition of what was going on that we know about increasing awareness of the benefits of Eastern meditative practices. And the reason why many of us are drawn to it is because their philosophies actually gel with their values and beliefs as well as their lifestyles. And as counselors and therapists, many of us are already integrating mind-body spiritual practices with our professional work. And Chopin and Freeman actually say that meditation is a meta therapy that will take you beyond. And many of us use that as relaxation, stress reduction, as well as self-care between sessions, and also self-care for the counselor. The role of spirituality has lasting benefits, and it also gives transformational changes, as I personally witness when I work with many of my clients from different backgrounds, from all walks of life, whatever faith and beliefs you practice. Spirituality is an intrinsic part of all of us. How did I use that? It is to address spirituality in a culturally sensitive manner. As I said earlier, I never introduce Falun Gong straight, in the first few sessions. Never. One of the teachings of Falun Gong is that we must always consider the other person first. And if we could do that, we'll find that there will be less conflicts and fewer issues. And so this is one of the most important criteria when we work with clients. Thank you very much, Leanne.
I was looking for some place to present a paper, and so I just looked online for call for papers. The Tomorrow People conference, the second international conference on spirituality and psychology, came out right away. But at first I just looked, and there it was.
Well, a lot of my research involves the intersection between spirituality and psychology. So when I discovered that was the topic of this conference and that it was abroad in Thailand, an opportunity to come to Thailand, I thought it would be a great chance. In addition, it's a really good chance to refine my dissertation work by presenting a part of it and then getting some feedback on it. So yeah, I find it conferences are very useful for that dissertation process. I'm very interested in the healing potential of spirituality, especially at the level of physical healing. And it sounds like with Falun Gong, there's many examples of people coming in with physical ailments that get healed with the life force, the vital energy, in a way that facilitates that healing. It sounds like the techniques of Falun Gong are very effective. So this really excites me.